Hello everyone and welcome to Talk of the Town. We're broadcasting live tonight. This is July 20th and we have a live show, and I'm so happy to be here and thank you so much for tuning in. Before we start, I'll give you a little update on Ken. He's been doing very well. He has a scan coming up August 3rd. Up in Boston, and August 5th we'll be given the results. And keep saying those prayers, because if everything's a go, they will operate in October, I believe. So those prayers are working between the doctor and the chemo. It's been a rough journey, but a worthy one. Because where we find ourselves today. And I thank you all for your inquiries and your prayers. It means a lot. So let's say hello to some of our underwriters. And we have a new one tonight. But let's start with Cape Auto and Cape Auto Body, and that would be Kevin and David Gallerani, two wonderful friends of ours. They have a wonderful business right here in Plymouth. They have the best shops, and they take care of their customers. And just like Gellers and Manomet, who we also love. But they're on Samoset and Sandwich Street right here in Plymouth, and we love those two guys, and great businesses, Cape Auto and Cape Auto Body. Now, Jeff Cohen, One Stop Painting. Jeff, you know what Jeff does. He practically gives all his money away. He has all those benefits for people and fundraisers, and Jeff is a good man. He also has a fabulous business, painting and wallpapering and decks and roofs and whatever you need. Call Jeff Cohen, One Stop Painting. Then we have Wrestling Brewster, a dear friend. Wrestling has a show right here on PAC TV called Wrestling with Computers. The best computer guy Plymouth has to offer. He will come in, fix your printer too. Wi-Fi, whatever you need. Wrestling Brewster. PC Solutions, a good friend. Now our new sponsor, and we're very honored to have him, is Dickie Quintal, and that's Quintal Brothers Farmers Market every Saturday and Sunday. And let me tell you, it's a gem. It's a hidden gem. It's down there at Scobie Circle, by Walmart, in the industrial park. I've never seen fruit and vegetables and the sweetbreads and the Portuguese foods, and you can't beat it. And that includes Market Basket. Dickie Quintal's Farmers Market is open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every Saturday and Sunday. And it's indoors, so whether it's raining or snowing or whatever it's doing, you go into his big warehouse there in the back, and it is chock full of the best fruits and vegetables you will see. And Kenny and I go there. Please go, and that's at Scobie Circle, right down by the industrial park, down by Walmart on the other side. Wonderful, wonderful. And Dickie will be giving gift certificates, and we have one tonight for the first caller. And it's gift certificates to his farmers market. When you call, give your address to Ken. He'll answer the phone, or it might be Anna Rose, and Walter Cicchetti and Anna Rose is here tonight, and they're helping in the booth. So if you call and give your address, that'd be great. Now, tonight's guest hasn't been here in a long time, and I really love him. I respect him. He happens to be running for re-election for state rep, but that's not why he's here, although I will ask him about it. And he's done a lot for Plymouth, and I want you to know about it. Please welcome our dear friend, Matt Muratore, State Representative.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, God, how long has it been?
It's been a while, yeah. It's been a while.
Not a year.
The phone doesn't ring very often. So
no,
when I get the call and say, can you come? I say, of course.
Of course. And I mean, which was only yesterday, day before, yeah.
I said to Ken, I said, I'm like Regis filming.
Yeah.
Filming with David Letterman. Whenever you need a fill-in,
yeah.
they would all call Regis right away. So
right.
Whenever you need me, I'll be here.
Thank you so much. You know who's like that, too, is Mark Garrett. And when I call him. But
I got to say before you start,
I
hadn't seen Ken in a while. I've talked to him a few times, but I haven't seen him in a while. He looks really good.
Thank you.
He looks good.
Thank you.
Very positive, great articles in the newspaper.
Oh,
very
thank
inspirational, you. But he looks good. He looks
Rich
good.
Harbert wrote two great stories on it.
Wonderful.
You know, Rich called Kenny up and said, can I do this? And Ken said, sure, because he's very open.
Yeah.
And if it helps somebody else.
And I'll reiterate, these underwriters you have, I've used them all.
Oh,
still use wrestling all the time.
Absolutely.
Use the Gallerani's. Jeff Cohen does my deck, my roof, and Dickie's just a great friend and does a great job down there.
Where else are you going to give, you're going to do your business in the town you live.
Absolutely.
And they're all great people. So, Matt, you went from selectman and you were an awesome selectman.
Thank you.
You knew how to bring everybody together, which was so appreciated. You had an even disposition. I don't think I ever saw you rattled or lose your temper at all. And you graduated from that and you went to state rep. Tell us about that.
Oh my God! I tell people all the time, none of this was planned. I never would have thought I'd be where I'm at. And as you know, I actually started out when Steve Trifoletti appointed me to the Finance Committee in 2005 because he needed somebody to fill in, and so I was happy to do that. And
you were great at that.
Yeah, just very happy, just kind of doing that. And then I got appointed to the Council on Aging because as a nursing home administrator, it just made sense to help out the Council on Aging. So I did that, and never would have thought I would have become selectman, let alone state rep. But things just kind of fell into place, and I'm a firm believer of that. You don't try to force things.
Right.
If things are going to happen, they're going to happen. Just let them happen.
It's Providence.
Yeah.
And so, I know because I was there when you were running for selectman, and you were just so thrilled to get that position.
It's a great honor.
Of course it is, and when the other opportunity came along, you really thought about it because you loved being a selectman.
Yeah, I did.
But you're also needed on the state level.
Yeah. As much as I love being a selectman, I love being a state rep even more.
Oh, I'm glad.
Because for the main reason is that you can still help the people of Plymouth, but you can also help in a bigger way and effectuate change even more so. Being on the state level to help Plymouth.
And help the selectmen.
Absolutely. I work with them all the time. I work with Melissa, JB, the town. Actually, today we had JB at the State House for one of the home rule petitions that were put through through town meeting for the DCR property in the waterfront.
Sure.
So that came through today. He went and did a great job, testified there.
Good.
And we should have that pushed through the House by the end of session, which is next week.
I wish those things were televised. You would have no idea how many people would watch. I would be sitting there.
Now the House debates in the House floor, those are you can go online and watch those.
Yeah.
But the committee meetings aren't, and that's where a lot of the work gets done is in committee meetings.
And probably more work because the TV camera isn't on.
But it's very public though, so there.
It is.
Oh yeah, because people come from the public. So
I understand that completely. Has to be. So you are enjoying yourself, but you're getting a lot done. I mean, you got the money for the Plimco Dam.
Yeah, it's funny how that came about. I think I was only in office maybe a week or two when that came about. Of course, the 9 seat cuts came in November before the election,
right?
When Governor Patrick was in, and then it was Melissa and David Gould, say, hey, can you help out in any way? So I went right to, I didn't, me, I just went right to the administration.
Yeah.
What do I do here? I got to get this money.
Yeah.
And it was only a small portion. It was a $2 million project. A good portion of the money, close to $1 million, I think, came from the federal government. And the state money was only about $300,000, but they couldn't finish the project.
Right.
So I just made a case for common sense, okay? And it wasn't to restore the 9 C cuts. It was to do something that was promised to the community.
Sure.
And we had emails that were sent from the Patrick administration back in October. Go ahead, sign the contract for the Plimco Dam. You'll get the money.
Oh, very good.
So they already started the work. So it was I had a full case, common sense. They said, you know what? You're right. We'll get it to you.
And it had been pulled, right?
Yeah.
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 But you, naive little you, which is the greatest thing because you're right out there, and you went to the source, and you said, how can I get this done?
Yep. Exactly.
And
right.
it got done.
And it got done. And ever since, I keep, but I'm very, respectful. I'm reserved. I use what I need to use when I need to use it. I try not to overdo it.
Right.
You get what you need for the community.
Right.
And that's the idea of being a state rep. And I caught on to that right away. And having Vinny there helps a tremendous
help.
There's nobody in there that has their predecessors still in there that can kind of help them and guide them. So I'm fortunate that way.
That was a blessing.
Oh, absolutely. See, the cards all lined up. So it was right. So he helped me. He guided me on the Plimco Dam, how to do that.
Yeah.
But all this stuff he kind of guides me with, and it's a great team that we have.
I am sure that he's thrilled that you're there.
Well, I think so, because he did something he's never done before at the 4th of July parade. He actually came out and supported somebody publicly, and he has never done that before.
Yeah, then he's very cautious.
I was very honored for that. I know publicly we talk every day, but to come out publicly like that and do that and walk with me in the parade and join together, that means a lot to me.
Well, absolutely. Well, you've proven yourself, and you're trustworthy, and your demeanor shows that that you're kind, and you encompass everyone, and that's what it takes.
That's what it's about.
And he's like that.
Yeah. That's how you get things done. So as a state rep, as I started to say, that's how you get things done, and you don't want to upset people when you're trying to get something for your community.
Yeah.
So you got to learn how to work with people on both sides of the aisle. There's only 35 Republicans out of 160. The rest are Democrat, but you wouldn't know it because everyone kind of works together so well. We're very fortunate with the delegation we have in the South Shore as well. With Representative Coulter, Representative Cutler, Representative Cantwell, Vinny, myself, even
Randy Hunt.
I was going to say down the Cape Way. We all just kind of work for our region, and that's what it's about.
That's what it's about.
It's not about me individually. And unfortunately, there are some, more than I care to count, representatives that it's really about them and not their community.
How many Republicans in there?
There's 35 out of 160 in the House.
I think I remember when there was 20, 21.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah, and Vinny could tell you the stories
Yeah.
of that. Yeah.
And and I say it was bad for this reason, because I feel there should be representation for all, voices for everyone.
Right.
And when it's always one-sided, it's not good.
It's tough, yeah. But the good part about this administration as well is the governor and lieutenant governor meet with the Speaker of the House and the Senate President every Monday. They have a standing meeting at 2 o'clock.
Oh, very good.
And they go over the agendas, and they just want to be on the same page together. Not that they agree on everything, but they're on the same page for most things. And if they're not, then they get the heads up that there's going to be differences on
how
something.
How can we come to an understanding?
Absolutely. And being in the Commonwealth where it's a majority of people are either a Democrat or vote Democrat, to be a Republican, particularly Republican governor, you got to figure that out, how you're going to actually give and take a little bit more than if you're in a state that's really dominated by Republicans or dominated by Democrats.
You're right, and there are states like that.
Yeah.
It's not good for, to have it one-sided.
But it's very balanced now by having a Republican governor and a democratically controlled House and Senate, because they do all work together well.
Who remind me, who was the Speaker?
Speaker of the House, Robert DeLeo.
That's
great
right,
guy,
that's right.
And Senate President Stan Rosenberg, who took Terry Murray's place.
Okay, so I don't know Rosenberg that well, but DeLeo's name is out there.
He's been the Speaker for quite a while.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. He's firm.
You have to be if you're a speaker.
But he's open to listening.
Yeah.
You can sit and you can talk with. You can plead your case on what you're looking for, and either go along with it, won't go along with it. But most time he listens well.
He should.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now the setup. Where are you? Where's your desk?
So if you're facing the house, the podium of the house.
Yeah.
I am the last row.
Last row.
In the second division to the left.
Okay. Do you ever move up?
After session, what I understand is every 2 years.
Okay.
So we're up for re-election this year, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And then if I'm fortunate to be re-elected, we go back in January, and then they'll change the seats.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So as you become more seasoned, you move up.
Yeah.
The problem is, a lot of people, I was never the type that wanted term limits, but these guys that are in there, Matt, 30 years.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's
tough,
too long.
Yeah. I give a lot of credit to Senate President Murray with she put term limits on herself to be Senate President for I believe it was 8 years.
Yeah.
And the Speaker had done that as well. But then this past session changed it and opened up. But the Senator Murray, she stuck to that. And she didn't have to, but she did it on her own because she believed in it.
She went out on a high note.
Yeah.
So, I'd rather go out on a high note than not.
When I was selectman, I always said, if you're going to be chair, I think 2 or 3 years should be the limit. And then so you can give people fresh ideas and fresh way of doing things.
Yeah, although I will say Ken Tavares is a wonderful chair.
We're very fortunate, I think, to have Ken, and I've said this to him privately, I'll say it publicly too, because to have somebody of his caliber, his knowledge, to not only be the chair of the Board of Selectmen, but also to chair the Plymouth 400 at the same time, to have that cohesiveness and to have the hours that he puts in to both those jobs. We are very fortunate in Plymouth.
Excuse me. Every time I come into the studio, the curtains get me. I'm sorry. But how is the 400th doing?
The 400th, well, Ken could probably answer that better than I can, but I can tell you from my perspective, one thing that we have been working on at the state level is a state commission.
That's right.
The state commission, we started talking about this probably about a year ago, and we finally had some meetings with the administration. Michelle came from the Plymouth 400 and a couple other folks, and we have put together a map of what the commission should look like. I'm happy to say that commission is in place. We're just waiting now for a date to have the swearing in. So it's all the governor's appointees. There's 28 that's going to be on the commission.
Wow.
They're all his appointees. Almost every cabinet level will be part of it.
He hasn't done this yet.
Oh, it's all together. So
all
the people are there. They just haven't been sworn in. It hasn't been announced yet.
You're not one of them.
Well, there is room for a state senator and a state representative on the commission.
Okay.
I've elected not to be as part of it because I believe that we should have the state representative from Provincetown be part of this. Oh. Because this is not just a Plymouth event.
That's right.
Yeah, and I'm involved anyways as being a state rep, or even if I'm a private citizen, I'll still be involved.
Yeah.
But having the whole area involved, because remember, this isn't just a Plymouth or Plymouth County event. This is this will now be a Commonwealth event with the governor's stamp of approval on that. And then what that will do, that will help the Plymouth 400 leverage private dollars, because most of those people that are on this commission are people that are, people that can raise the money and know where to get private dollars.
Yeah.
I'm estimating they'll probably be able to raise $10 to $14, $15 million.
Fundraising is the name of the game.
Yep, And you have to have the high-powered people on that to do that.
Well, I understand Governor Baker comes into meetings with his own pad and pen and takes notes.
Yeah. The first meeting we had was, it was May 19th of last year, of 2015. It was at Town Hall. It was his first trip as a
I remember.
governor,
I saw the photos.
And I remember that because it was my anniversary. That's how I remember the date. And he came in, he took his coat off, rolled up his sleeve, he sat with the selectmen and myself and a few other town department heads, and he had a pad of paper, and I was so impressed with that. But ever since then, any meeting I go to, and I meet with him monthly, and when we have, as a caucus, we meet with him, and same thing.
That's what I heard.
It's to him, it's a job he's always wanted, but it's a job. It's not a stepping stone for him.
Yeah.
So it is a job, and he takes that job seriously.
Oh, I'm sure. You know, I had the lieutenant governor here. I interviewed her when she was running, and the first time. And what a firecracker she is.
Yeah, she's great. She's great.
Yeah, I met her husband too, and her little boy, and she was a firecracker.
She really is.
Yeah.
And she has, with this community compact that they have put together, with doing best practices in the community.
Right.
There's 351 towns. She's up to, I think, 210 towns that she's already visited and had these community compacts.
She loves the Pine Hills.
Loves it.
Loves it.
Loves it.
I know that.
She actually came out for me not too long ago to do a fundraiser.
Yeah,
for the Pine Hills.
I saw the photos.
Yeah,
You
it was
keep
great.
posting those, but sometimes when Vinny and you post photos, we don't know what they are because there's no title. There's nothing there.
We will talk to the people that do that for us. Obviously, it's not us doing it, because we don't know how to do it.
I'm saying, who are they? What are they doing? But, no, and I want to thank you and the delegation for the air conditioner money. You and Vinny got that money to finish that. Thank you.
It's the right thing to do, Karen.
It was. You know, when we first got that phone call from the fire chief, and then we met with him, the guy had tears in his eyes. He thought it was a tragedy, and he asked us if there was anything we could do. So, and then Stevie went to Kenny and said, yeah, let's, do you know about this? Yes. Do you want to do so? Yes. And it went from there, and then, contacting Vinny and you, and the rest of the money came in.
See, they really did it, though. They're the ones that brought it to the forefront. They kept it alive out there, and they're the ones that are the true heroes in this whole thing. And I was actually at the event a few weeks ago where they both got honored.
Yes, I want to talk about that. Now, the council, is that called the Council on Aging anymore?
They call it, Ken, you remember what they call it? I forget what they call it now. The Nook, is it?
The Nook?
I think it's called the Nook or something. But it's the Center for Active Living, I think is what it's called.
Oh, no, I like that.
Yeah.
The Center for Active Living sounds much better.
Right.
And I know Connie was searching for something.
Yeah, I like that name.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
And it's positive.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell us about, Connie's doing a phenomenal job. You had done it unbelievable. You were there. And Connie has been doing it now for a number of years, doing a wonderful job. Tell us about that event.
So it was an event with the Old Colony Elder Services.
Yeah.
In conjunction with the Council on Aging. It's just easy to say Council on Aging.
Yeah, I know. We're so used to that.
But they did a walk to raise awareness on elder abuse.
Yeah.
And there are all kinds of elder abuse, as you know, as a
mental
nursing home
and
administrator.
Physical, yeah.
Yeah. When people hear elder abuse, they think somebody is being physically hurt. But the most common elder abuse is what I call the silent elder abuse that happens. The financial, the emotional, those are the bigger ones that actually happen. Financial, where people are actually, taking money a little bit at a time, skimming off the top is what I call it.
Yeah.
The mental abuse, the degrading of elders, and there's so much of that goes on. So I was glad that they wanted to do this walk and raise awareness. And at that event, they handed out a few awards.
Yeah.
And Ken and Stevie were actually awarded certificates for what they did for the air
they
conditioning.
didn't need that, but it was so nice.
They did need it.
Yeah.
They did need it because they didn't do it for that.
No.
They did it because it was the right thing to do.
And it felt good to do
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah, it's you need more people like that.
Sure, absolutely.
And the business community stepped right up.
They always do in Plymouth.
Holy
It's
mackerel.
amazing. Yeah.
When David Gallerani made a challenge right on this program to all the businesses, he was donating so much, and which was a lot. He made a challenge, and boom, it took off.
Yep.
You know, so
We got an amazing community.
we do.
We have it was just so fortunate.
Good people.
So fortunate.
And then anybody who calls in will get a gift certificate from Dickie Quintal's Farmers Market. What? Just call in, and he will mail it out to you. So give your address. I just heard your wife. Tell us.
Yeah, she. Isn't it amazing nowadays with Facebook and Twitter and all the social media how things get out? Yesterday, I'm very proud. We all are of her. She was sworn in federal district court, so she could now. She's a lawyer, so she can now practice law in federal court now. So we went in for the swearing in. So yeah, it was a great ceremony. It was just an honor to be.
I'm glad she expanded.
Yeah,
you know, it's a good thing. She's a smart.
Yeah, she is.
Good girl.
She is, yeah.
She is.
I tell people all the time, the only reason I got elected because of her. It's just so true.
Well,
so many people know her, respect her, and like her, you know, more than people I know.
She's very, very kind. And how many girls do you have?
We have 6 daughters. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
you know, I don't know how the both of you do it, but you do it very well.
Thank you. Yeah. A lot of good scheduling.
Yeah, good schedule. I guess so. But no, we're very proud of her, too. I'm glad she expanded her horizons. Good girl. Now, what is this? Our ID is going to be passed out to the illegals that come in?
No, there is nothing in the... there's nothing coming before us on that at this point.
Okay,
Yeah,
at this point.
I don't think that will happen. Again,
Driver's
session
license?
ends at the end of July,
Yeah.
so I don't see that happening.
You don't see that now. Okay, what is the feeling
I think
by the
I think
legislature?
the feeling of the majority of legislators that it's not a good idea to do it. And I think that's what we're getting from you know, the people that we, particularly in this area, that's get a lot of calls on that.
Yeah.
Make sure we don't do.
We're all for legal, Matt, all for legal.
That's right.
Immigrants, we're all immigrants, you know, but now expansion of the T. Do I understand right, if we cancel the project, do we lose the grant money from the feds and we have to pay it back?
I'm not quite sure on that, but there is federal money that's involved.
Yeah.
So usually with federal money involved, if you don't use it, you cancel, then you have to give back. The T's been an interesting proposition. I know the governor just gave a whole update today. It's been a year now.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where you have to keep taking the onion and just keep peeling back and peeling back and peeling back, so you get to the core and then you build it back up again. So it's not something that's going to be fixed overnight, although it's better now than it was a year ago, but it still has a ways to go.
It's so mismanaged.
Yeah. Yeah, there is all new management in place now.
Oh.
But it takes some time to change culture.
Filter it down and change culture.
But they've done some pretty good things with policies and things, so they're getting there.
Yeah, it's just been for years.
And I'll tell you, this is one of those things where the governor working with the Senate President and the Speaker of the House came up with a plan together.
Yeah.
That they could work on together, and they gave the governor, I believe it was 3 or 4 years, to work the plan to get it to where it needs to be. Because
that won't happen overnight.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So all new people are in place.
Yeah, there's new management in place, and that's been happening over time, and so they got the finances, under a microscope now, and they got a better handle on the finances, and
it's like the post office. I'm telling
that's
you.
Even bigger,
Now, we're very happy because from what I understand, you can correct me if I'm wrong, the state did not cut any or very little monies coming into Plymouth.
No, the one thing we did ask though was for a couple $100,000 for the Plymouth 400.
Yeah.
The budget isn't final yet
No,
because we're
July,
going to do that at the end of this end of next week.
Yeah.
But it looks like that there's agreement that Plymouth will get for 100,000.
Yeah.
So at least we're getting something. A number of other communities, those earmarks is what they call them,
Yep.
have been cut out completely because the revenue, there's a revenue shortfall in this state, and
I know.
it's going to take another year to get this turned around because we were spending more money than what we had. So we're trying to again peel that onion back again and make sure we have the revenue before we do the expenses, like we do at home with our checkbooks. You have to have the revenue before you can make.
Please.
You can't spend the money if you don't have it.
I'm the one who does that,
Yeah.
and I just, twice a month, and I detest it.
Yeah, I know.
But from what I understand, the former governor just spent all the money at the end.
I don't know what happened at the end, but and I think that's why some of the 9C cuts came in as well. And this governor is being very careful with that. You don't want to promise things in a budget and then hope you get the money.
Yeah.
You're going to almost be sure you're going to have that money because otherwise you're going to do 9C cuts.
Right.
And we don't want to have that happen again.
Right. So what is coming up in the State House? What exciting, wonderful things that the state can look forward to? Whether it's Boston or Plymouth or the Cape.
I've got to tell you, the excitement or the talk around the State House, if you look at the entire Commonwealth, what they're looking forward to, is this Plymouth 400. And it's because, what they're looking at is this could be part of the economic development for the Commonwealth for the next 10 years because soon after Plymouth, you have Quincy, you have Salem, and you have Boston. And these communities are already planning for that. So the eyes are on Plymouth now on how we're doing it. They're on the State Commission on how we're doing it. So I think, in the next 2 or 3 years, that's the big thing that we're, people are talking about looking forward. Yeah.
I'm glad because it goes from Provincetown all the way up to the North Shore.
Absolutely.
We could have a state wonderful party. But
other than that, right now the session is just about ending. As you know, it's an 18-month session.
Yeah.
So July 31st, we'll be there probably till midnight. It's a Sunday this year, so we'll be there late and just wrap up all the business, particularly the budget, and get that finalized.
I've heard stories about those all-night sessions. Nothing, but I mean, sleeping in the cot. In the office or the couch.
I used to hear that. I heard those stories.
Yeah, and
I have not experienced that. We haven't dealt with that.
You might. You might get
Budget week was budget week. Many people will get an area hotel and stay a couple nights because that's usually, at least 3 nights that you're there. And you're there late into the evening and go back again the next day. So.
We're talking way back. I mean, they
way
stayed
back. They used to do. Oh yeah.
They stayed there and they pounded it out.
Yep.
And
there's not as much debate as there used to be, from what I hear. A lot of things are worked up behind the scenes. Yeah. So there's not a lot. I was actually one thing that you do as a new legislator is you cannot speak on the floor of the House to debate anything until you give your maiden speech. So I was fortunate enough to be able to give my maiden speech. You kind of wait; it's all timing again. What are you going to want to make your maiden speech on? You want to make it on something, something that is going to pass. So I was fortunate enough to be put on the conference committee for the public records law. So the public records law was something they were put into place in 1972, and it hadn't been touched ever since. So I was fortunate enough to be on the committee for it, and then asked to go on the conference committee to work out the Senate and the House side of that. And so we worked out the compromises, and it became law. And I had my maiden speech on that one right before it was passed, and the law was passed.
They posted that too.
Yeah.
And you were beaming.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's from what I found out, it's very unusual to have a freshman legislator being on a conference committee. So that I was really honored just to be on that conference committee and think about it, be part of 6 people who created a law.
Which is huge because some people can sit for years and they don't create anything.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that goes back to Providence, and I wonder if somebody did an astrology chart on you, they would see exactly where all your houses lay in your 12-house chart. I bet you just were born to this. And when things happen like this and keep happening, you're meant for it. You're meant to go on, or, you know, at least succeed tremendously in what you're doing.
Well, you know, I think you can create your own opportunities. And, you know, I grew up as a kid with, you know, with a mom. I didn't have a dad. You know, my parents divorced when I was young. And so we did, you know, we lived in an apartment. And, you know, I had to work for everything I got. And my first job was a dishwasher in a nursing home in Rockland, and the owner was, his name was Edmund Delprat. So he's obviously since passed away, but he was older then. But really, it instilled in me the, you know, work ethic, work hard, be positive, be respectful.
And you were a kid.
When I was 16 years old. And so I never forgot that. And I worked there for several years at the nursing home and learned the business, and he really took me under his wing.
And you
learned all
liked it.
That. Yeah, and I liked that. And he dabbled in politics a little bit. He was a selectman in Rockland a little bit. And so I was able to be on Peter Flynn. No, Peter Flynn.
Oh, Flynn.
When he ran for sheriff. So
Okay.
I helped with that campaign. And when Lieutenant Paul Salucci, when he was running lieutenant governor, I helped on that campaign.
Paul
Yeah,
Salucci.
I have a picture of me when I was like 24, 25 years old when he was running. I still have
Yeah.
that picture.
He's a good man.
So I kind of learned all that then. But it was really, you know, nobody's going to create opportunities for you. And I learned that at a young age. You have to create them for yourself. And if you're kind and respectful to people and you work hard, that's how I believe things will fall into place.
Well, you have an opportunity, too, to help your colleagues. Has that happened? I mean, do you mentor anyone? Do you...
It's interesting. The colleagues in the House, being a freshman, it's more that, you know, I'm being mentored by a lot of them because they've been there a long time. But I was elected as the vice president of our class. So we were... I guess every freshman class that comes in, you have an election of who's going to be your class president, your class vice president, your treasurer, and secretary.
You do that too?
I was elected as vice president.
Okay.
So, so I think they probably saw some leadership qualities I could have. Of course, I'm probably older than most of them as well.
But you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No.
Oh yeah. 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 This hair is fake. It's fake hair. But I think it's very collegiate that we work together, and you really great.
And you speak, you know, together, and you say, how do you feel about a certain thing? How can we improve it? Do you think this is dead on arrival? Have you heard this, that, and the other thing?
Yeah.
And that's great.
Giving the input is wonderful, and going back and forth, and again, it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat.
No,
we do that a lot. How can we do? It's really how can we make this bill so that we can all agree on for the betterment of the citizens we represent? Right.
Have you had a chance to go to Washington for anything?
I went to Washington with the Plymouth 400 early on last year.
I remember they did.
Yeah, and it was really to meet with Congressman Keating, actually, and talk about a federal commission and how that would work. Yeah, he was very good, and it really came back to, well, you got to really have a state commission first, and that's why we went back and said, okay, let's really work on the state commission, and now then the federal commission. That's why the federal commission is now being put together.
To know Congressman Keating is to know a good man. He got a kick out of it. I called him a red dog Democrat. You know what that is. He's a common sense. He tends to come down on the conservative side. He is a Democrat, and he's proud of it. But dealing with him is a pleasure.
He's got great staff.
Yeah.
He's got great staff, too.
Mike.
Mike's wonderful.
Yeah. I've seen Mike walking through the town. He loves it. So And you live right next to a former selectman, Sergio Harnett.
Yes, yeah.
And Sergio, thank God, isn't traveling as much anymore.
No, he's not. I actually got to see him, believe it or not, we live right around the corner.
Yeah.
But I hadn't seen him in a while, and I saw him in Connecticut not too long ago. So I was asked by, Dr. Maestas had the Dream Ride.
Oh, that's right.
So I was asked if I would bring three riders down on Friday night to Connecticut, because these 3 people were going to go from the Connecticut leg up back to Plymouth.
Okay.
So so I went down there. I drove them down and with their bikes, and had dinner with Sergio and Gary and the folks, and it was great to see him. But I was so proud of him doing that trip.
Oh, and he practiced for that.
He did, yeah.
And I said, Sergio, because he came to the house and he visited with us, and I said, how, you poor bum. And he said, he goes, you toughen up.
You do,
And Michelle Badger took the trip too.
Yeah, had dinner with her that night.
And it's really gruesome. I mean, it is grueling. And I don't know how they did it. And Gary Maestas, I think, is just the best.
Can I tell you, I had a meeting with the Commissioner of Education not too long ago, maybe a couple months ago, and we were talking about charter schools.
Oh, yeah.
And before he even started, he says, I have to tell you, you have one of the best superintendents in all the Commonwealth. And for the commission to say that, and he doesn't really know Gary, he met him once, but just
heard about him, he knows what he's done.
And all that, So
the best.
It's a great compliment.
We are so fortunate to have Gary Maestas as a superintendent of schools. I can't bear the thought of him ever retiring. He's just wonderful. He's a people person like you. People person.
But it's common sense, and it's doing the right thing. And he always keeps the kids at the core of everything.
Mayor Menino always said to me, keep it real, keep it with the people, you'll be fine.
Yep.
Just be with the people.
Exactly right.
No matter how high up you get, always connect. And because that's how you breed loyalty.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that's another thing I want you to know. While in Kenny's darkest days, Matt would call at least once a week. At least he would email, he would call, and there were times that I couldn't speak on the phone because I was so wrought. But you did manage to speak with Kenny. And really appreciate it, Matt.
Yeah, my pleasure. Look at, you and Ken have been very good to me over the years. And you're friends, and you don't forget that. And our lives get busy. But
that's understood.
But it's those, you still have to make that connection. And I wanted to make sure he was good. You know what? I did it for myself more than anything, because I needed to know how he was doing. To make me feel better. And every time I talked to him, no matter what kind of day it was, he always made me feel better afterwards.
Yeah, he's got that knack. He could be, in his worst moment, he'll always make that other person feel better.
Yep, absolutely.
I don't have that, Matt.
Yeah. You said it, not me.
I'm sorry, but I find myself in a place, I'm over 70, I don't care.
I can't wait to get to that place.
I am who I am, and that's it. And I just in today's world, with everything going on, it's
strange world now.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, it's scary. You bring that up. I've been hearing more and more from people. People, my age, and, older.
In our age,
yeah, that's just
afraid.
For the first time, they're afraid.
We're very afraid.
They're afraid in this country.
Yeah.
And then it gets me to think, what are other countries that don't have all this?
Israel.
What are they like? How do they live like this all the time?
I don't know. Look what's happening in France, in Germany, and there are not enough words to describe how you feel. You sit there and cry.
I got a text the other night from Jason Higgins from the police department. He's running the Mass Police Association Executive Board meeting is this Thursday morning.
Okay.
Tomorrow morning.
Where?
At the East Bay Grill.
Oh, nice.
And he sent a text to Vinny and myself Sunday night. Would you guys mind, coming and just saying a few words?
Absolutely.
Just like words of encouragement. And I was sitting with my 10-year-old on the couch, and she was with me when the text came in. She's reading it. She goes, "What's this all about?" So I kind of explained about what's been happening with the police and what I'm going to do.
She's only 10.
She's only 10. And the next day, I don't know if you saw this on Facebook or not, but the next day, she did a video. She put together this video. I don't know how you do this, but she put together this video for the police.
Yeah.
And she met Mike Boteria a year or two ago. Mike gave his
man.
business card to her, and she's always kept it with her. So she said, can you give this to the, she calls him the big guy, can you give this to the big guy?
Big guy.
So I always know she's talking about Mike. So what is it? So we looked at it, and we had tears in our eyes.
Yeah.
It was a 44-second video,
but
it was about the police and how they serve and protect, and the music to the song talked about how they were. It was like a rap song, but it talked about how wonderful the police are, and how they are protectors and servers. And I sent it to Mike. Texted to Mike. I said, Kenzie wanted me to send this to you.
Oh, he must have.
He was very emotional about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, to come from a child.
Can I share this?
They need things like that.
Yeah. Meant a lot to them. Yeah.
We'll go down
from a 10-year-old.
From your 10-year-old. That's I'm not surprised. There are times that we'll go down to a fire department. It doesn't matter which one, and the police department, the headquarters, and give them something good to eat. This is just, nice. I call ahead because I want them to. I'm not walking in with a box. It's It's food. It's for you, and Mike sets it up, and I walk in, and Kenny and we give it. And I'll tell you, who you're going to call.
Right.
When you're running away from danger, they're running toward.
You got it. Yeah, the firemen. I mean, how they do what they do, and more so, you don't see as much fires, but still going to fires. But the accidents they go.
The accidents, the overdoses, everything. They're
the
right there.
Mental toughness that they have to see all this.
And they are, and they're professional.
Yeah.
They came to the house a number of times lately, and. So professional. Now, I know they know me, but they don't acknowledge that, and neither do I. They are very professional. All they care about is the patient.
Right.
And I appreciate that. It's no time for kibitzing. Police are the same way. We're
so fortunate with the police and fire and the EMS in this town.
Well, you have leadership as chiefs that are the best.
That's right.
And then the men, the rank and file, they're phenomenal. Yep. Policemen could take a bullet.
Yeah.
And
now they're taking a bullet for no reason. That's just you just can't imagine.
There are no words.
There isn't. No, there isn't.
It's a nightmare. It's a national.
And they go to work. Fire and police go to work like that every day. No one, who knows they're going to
kissing their child.
And imagine being a spouse of one of them too.
You have to have strength.
Yeah.
And when that man and woman kiss their child and wife or husband goodbye that morning, they don't know they're coming back.
Which is why we have to respect what they do.
Absolutely.
We have to always respect what they do.
And this lately, this thing that's balled up with black friends have me as a friend. That's the way I'm going to put it. I adore them. They adore me. I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime. I know we had the civil rights under great respect of Martin Luther King and his wife. That was total respect. And they killed him. And my hero, John F. Kennedy. They tried to do it to Reagan. It's terrible.
You know, and you look at all that, and you look at these senseless killings that are happening. You know, you have to look at the core. You look at that onion again. You peel it back. Every single one of it has to do with mental illness. And
you know,
every
I'm
chance
beginning to
every
think
chance
that
I have an opportunity. I'm going to take a minute to talk about this. We need to deal with this country with mental illness. You know, we don't do enough research on mental illness. You know, we study the brain, but we're not studying what's causing mental illness. We need to do more. More money needs to go into studying what mental illness is and, you know, what it can do. We need more licensed clinical social workers to help people with mental illness and therapy. It's not always giving drugs to people. It's not always that. And every time I talk about this at any place I go, I will always have people that will come up to me afterwards. I'll talk about a myriad of subjects. And if I talk about mental illness and behavioral health, I'll have people that come up to me and tell me their stories of people they know or they have it.
everybody
There's so
has
many,
someone.
but we don't talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's okay to talk about it. It's a disease, just like cancer, just like heart disease, mental illness as well. But as soon as we talk, we can start talking about it more, and we can actually start doing something about it. That's the root cause of all this.
I think years ago, and I was witness to it, when I believe it was Weld, let all the mental patients out from their homes and the institutions.
No, it was actually back in the 70s. It was we were just talking about this the other night. It was 1972, 74. So whoever was governor back then.
It was a governor.
May have been King or maybe after King or something.
It wasn't.
It was in the 70s, though, when that happened.
It was awful. They ended up on the street.
Yep.
And it mushroomed from there.
You know where a lot of them going now?
Where?
They're going to nursing facilities now. It's not your grandmother's nursing homes anymore, like it used to be.
Well, my aunt was in life care. And they accepted her, Kimberly, my daughter, and I, took her out of South Boston. And she was in a home for a long time. Not a nursing home, but a home, and loved it. But the woman that ran it was getting tired. We knew we had to do something. So we got her into life care. Frankly, I didn't care where it was. I wanted her in Plymouth.
Sure.
And it happened to be life care. And she loved it there. She thrived.
Yeah, good place.
And she, you know, she had everything she needed, plus her relatives.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you say now that's what's happening, do they designate a floor?
Sure. So what happens, a place like Life Care...
Because Sarah was right in with the population.
A place like Life Care wouldn't have that population because they're tied into the hospital, which is called an ACO, Accountable Care Organization. So it's the flow of residents. So short-term residents like that will go to a Life Care because they'll have therapy, then they'll go home. But they don't use maybe they don't use Plymouth Rehab for that. So Plymouth Rehab needs to vent themselves to something else. So they have a population of people with, you know, behavioral issues, mental health issues, maybe homelessness, and there are a number of nursing homes in the Commonwealth that are taking that type of population because there's a need for it.
Yeah.
And they're doing a really good job at it, and they're trying to get them back in the community and get them back to housing and things like that.
Best place you could be. Under supervision like that and helped.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know we have a few homes here in Plymouth that help too, and you always see the same people. You know, they're walking, drinking a cup of coffee, sitting in front of the museum there at downtown, and and they're, you know, for the most part, they're harmless. They just, you know, they just want to live. And
talk about Connie DeLago from the Council on Aging. She's put together this group called Plymouth Cares, and it's run by Captain McNamara from the police department. And there's a group of folks that get together on a monthly basis, and one of the issues that they're tackling now is homelessness in Plymouth. So they really started focusing on that. They brought some folks from the state down last month to meet, and they really started to put some action plans together on what we can do.
That's
and they're getting the the organizations that deal with homeless involved as well. Some of the churches involved, et cetera. So
yeah, the churches are really
so
good.
it needs to happen on a local level. I mean, the state's doing their part, getting people out of motels and hotels and all that, but the local levels need to do their part as well.
Right. It's like taking care of our parents.
Yeah.
We take as children, we took care of our parents.
Sure.
So they didn't need to go to the state or anything like that.
Right.
And we had two sets of parents that were taken care of.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know,
Absolutely.
so, I mean, it's a joint effort.
Absolutely.
Oh
Absolutely.
my God, look, it's 8:56.
Oh my God, time flies.
It did fly.
Yeah.
Now, you're up for re-election.
Yeah.
And I know that's not why you were invited
No.
here, but let's talk about that a little bit. It's every 2 years.
Every 2 years,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. There was a push a couple of years ago to try to get it to every 3 years, but it didn't go anywhere.
The very least, it should be every 4 years, and then the other one should be 6. You know, I could deal with that, but every 2 years.
Every 2 years is tough.
I wish you the best.
Oh, thank you so much.
You
Good seeing you
have
again.
our vote.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, thank you.
We will be here next week with Sheriff Joe McDonald, and on August 10th, the Chief of Police, Mike Muratore, will be here. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you in 7. Why are they yelling? Did I do something wrong?
No.